Hey, what's up, you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you my weekly review.
Hey, what's up, you guys? Bloody Jacob here, meeting my icon, Catherine Isabel here.
Across the streams of hopes and dreams where things are really not. Come along if you can. Come along if you dare.
Have a good one.
Take a ride to the
Cheers, guys.
inside of your mind. But please realize you'll probably be surprised.
Hey, what's up, you guys? Bloody Jacob here to bring you my review of this week's episode of The Originals on the CW, which is the penultimate episode of the series, the second to last episode 12 of the fifth and final season, called The Tale of Two Wolves. So yeah, I worked last night, but I watched this episode as soon as I got up today, and because I'm treating these final episodes with these characters, especially Klaus Michelson, as with the utmost attention and urgency as I can. Of course, Klaus being I'll just say it, quite likely my favorite character of all time. I've said it before, but I mean it, not just in this world, not just in this show. I mean, of all TV shows I've watched, even against most movies, there's no one that really compares to Klaus for me. So I've been very excited, but yet very nervous for these final few episodes, and we're finally hitting that mark, and we'll be seeing how it all concludes next week. Now this episode really seems to make a line up with how I have been saying it could go for the past while. Klaus taking Hope's place in some way to endure the Hollow and then doing whatever with himself. And that appears to be what's going to happen. Elijah, of course, tries to prevent that, but we'll talk about that in a couple minutes here. Klaus does make a visit to Mystic Falls, to see if he can obtain the power of the Saltzman twins, in a last-ditch effort to save Hope. And we also see Caroline, of course. We also see Alaric. I always have liked Alaric. He was one of my favorite characters on the original show, Vampire Diaries. Here he was a little bit annoying. I'll admit it. I get that Alaric can't just sit down and watch the past 4 seasons of the originals and get that Klaus actually has a lot of good in him. There's no way he could have known that. He hasn't been in New Orleans, and so I get it. But at the same time, I feel like since they accepted Hope into the school, and with what Caroline has said, I would think that he would assume that there's, probably more to this guy than, who we were fighting in the past. And so it was kind of annoying how Alaric just automatically decided to, crossbow him. But of course, Klaus comes to fairly quickly after that. And I think Alaric has hopefully accepted that, maybe there's some kind of leeway here we can give him. I did like seeing Stefan's diary, that was a throwback. Also the old picture of Katerina Petrova, Catherine Pierce, was also nice that they actually kept that. Because, she was a big part of Stefan's, stories in that book, so, I like that. Then, Hope kind of teases Elijah about how Klaus is always the, villain in the story, and he's the evil henchman and stuff like that. Very biased source, as Elijah says. I like the stuff between Elijah and Hope in this episode. It was nice. I think there was definitely time needed between the two, both for them and the audience. And I really enjoyed it. From the ice cream to the I was gonna do a video on the Legacies trailer. I kind of regret not. But you know, with a lot of the CW trailers, there is mostly like a lot of footage from the current season, and then just maybe a few seconds of the new upcoming season. And I guess, you know, they just have different filming schedules, and some other networks they don't have as much to show, which, you know, I understand. But you know, one thing that you know, confused me a little bit in that trailer was, you know, seeing Elijah sitting with Hope, and I was like, oh wait, is that from like the first episode of Legacies? Does this mean Elijah definitely survives? And no, that scene of him and Hope sitting outside the grill or whatever was from this episode. So, not confirming that Elijah survives, but it looks to be the case with how this episode ends. Because I feel like the last moment that Elijah could have died has now passed. You know, with Klaus, he ends up taking in the power anyway, despite Elijah's efforts. And before we get to the main part, also the Klaus and Caroline stuff, I did enjoy. Again, I've said before that I've never really been a huge fan of that pairing. You know, especially Endgame, in an Endgame sort of way, I guess. But I always kind of cared about it just because Klaus does, and I just expressed how much I loved Klaus. So I was always like, okay, if I believe Klaus is happy, then I can try and accept it. But, you know, at the same time, I think there are definitely greater stories that came for Klaus, you know, from Haley to Cammy, and characters like that. But, you know, I like how they've handled it this season, sort of acknowledging their feeling toward each other, but here's how much both of them have changed over the years. But in this episode, they kind of tied back to it a little bit. And I did like Caroline saying, I don't think you were ever the villain of my story. Yeah, I enjoyed that. And I did like their near kiss, you know, as, you know, sort of a, I don't know if I want to say subtle, but just sort of a way of not quite going there, but still, again, acknowledging that to the fans, I think. Now, will we see that, like, one last time before Klaus dies? I don't know. Like Lark said in the woods, she couldn't bear to watch him die, but now we see that Klaus has this extra time. Someone interrupts him, I'm not sure who it is. Could be Caroline or something, I'm not sure. Yeah, but we see him next week. He goes back to New Orleans to say goodbye to everyone to have his own funeral. So that's going to be a rocket of an episode for me, I know that. It's going to hit me. But yeah, with that, I did like Klaus and Elijah's brief fight scene as well. Klaus getting the better of him and snapping his neck. So he could keep going with his plan. And he does take all the power in. And yeah, so this was a very, very good setup episode. You know, again, lining up things to how I thought. I did like the scene of Hope transforming into a wolf as well. You know, Klaus sort of guiding her into that path or mindset of embracing it, and sort of just like letting it all instead of struggling with it, making it worse, accepting what she is the way Haley would want her to. I really enjoyed that exchange. And we also did see Haley in this episode, and that was a nice touch as well. I think we'll see her again in some way in the finale. You know, when Hope is kind of treading the line between you know, living and the dead and everything like that, we see her run into Haley, and you know, she's with Jackson and some of the other wolves and stuff like that. You know, it was nice, and you know, Phoebe Tompkins, she got to me a little bit. Yeah, I still see a lot of people criticizing Danielle Rose Russell's acting. You know, Hope, and you know, I don't think she's the best, and you know, I do miss Summer Fontana in my way as well. But I think she's come around a little more. Again, I don't think it's so much a knock on her as an actress. I think people are just frustrated with her this season writing-wise, so now they're kind of against her in a certain weird way. But you know, I think given better and better material, she can excel a little bit more, and I think she'll mature into something even better as Legacies goes. Because I've seen the new footage of the Legacies trailer we did get. She looks pretty awesome, pretty strong now. You know, so I'm warming up to her more and more. Yeah, I did like all her expressions and sort of mannerisms when she was dancing with Landon, and I liked her, you know, wrecking up Ollie's car. That was nice. I'm not sure about Landon as a character. He just seemed sort of random, just out of nowhere. again, like her smile and their dancing and everything. Klaus is sort of observing them, taking it in. But yeah, it was a really good episode. I'm giving it about a 9.2, 9.3 out of 10. Yeah, next week it's gonna be it's gonna be incredible and the worst thing in the world at the same time. Joseph Morgan, he's one of the most talented actors I've ever seen in anything, and I know he's really gonna hit us where it hurts for sure. So yeah, let me guys thought about this week's episode. You can follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, like, subscribe. I'll catch you guys next time. Let me know what you guys think is going to happen in the series finale. Do you think there's going to be any sort of final twist or switcheroo? I think I'd kind of cheapen it at this point. But what kind of character moments are you expecting with Klaus's supposed, last time here? Certainly better than him being encased in cement and dumped in the ocean, right? But like, Loki and Lara acknowledge that probably couldn't hold him. So yeah, catch you guys next time. Peace.